Hello and welcome to the series premiere of a new show on KNWT called I Am. My name is Hayden Ali and I'm the producer and the host for this upcoming show. And for the very first episode, we have our guest, Whitnee. So Whitnee, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So Whitnee, tell us about yourself. What are you all about? What is it that you do?
So I am a communication rhetoric major with a minor in broadcasting, and I am a student at Northwest Missouri State University. I'm a senior this year. Yeah, go Bearcats. And something that's just fun about me is I changed my major, I think, in the teens of times almost.
No kidding.
No kidding. Not that quite many, but I think it was about 8 times that I changed my major just because I didn't know what to do with myself. So.
Well, hey, I think you picked a good major because broadcasting stuff is awesome. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, so I know earlier in the week when we talked about, you had some 4 things that you really just were all about. When you call those the 4 C's. So,
yes.
Yeah, could you go through and just kind of list out a few of those 4 C's and tell us about that?
So the 4 C's are my 4 favorite things, which is Christ, cameras, cooking, and coloring. And they're my 4 favorite things in the world. And
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, you might as well start with the first C.
Okay.
So Christ, you need to tell us more about that.
Yeah, so Christ is really important in my life. I grew up in a Southern Baptist church my whole life, and I think it was when I was in 2nd grade that I finally accepted Christ as my Savior and Lord. And I just was standing at church and it hit me that I just really wanted something different about my life. And yes, it sounds really young, but I knew what I was doing and I really wanted that. And it stuck with me all through middle school, high school, and college. And I hope it just continues to grow through all of my adult life.
Very nice, very nice. So what does that faith mean for you today then?
Faith means for me today, it's changed a little bit for me since my 2nd grade self. My 2nd grade self, I think, was a little bit of trying to figure out how to be a friend to Jesus. And now I am friends with God, but it's a little bit of a different kind of look. And I struggled with a lot of health issues whenever I was little, and I still do today. I have actually in the teens, literally, of diseases and disorders and syndromes. And so I've had a lot of health trials and life trials trying to decide what to do in life and what's going to be the next step. And through all of that, I had to rely on God because my doctors had never had a case like me. And so they had to just trial and error things in situations. And so I had to rely on God because I knew God knew what the outcome was and God knew what was going to happen next.
That's very cool. Very nice. Cool. You might move on to the next C.
Yes.
Okay, what's the next C?
Cameras are really important to me because I just love photography. I've always enjoyed photography. Whenever I was in high school, a lot of things were taken away from me, and I was in hospital beds a lot. And so I didn't know how to express myself. I started taking pictures with my nurses. I started taking pictures out my window. I started taking pictures when I got to travel through the hospital. And I figured out that it was really a lot of fun. And so then I asked for my birthday for a camera, and I got my first camera and took, I don't know, the first day, several hundred pictures just because I was obsessed.
Yeah.
And then I still haven't cleared that SD card just because they are really important to me. So I just have it stashed away in my camera bag labeled. So it's a reminder to me of where my start was and why I started this.
Very nice, very nice. Cool. So let's go ahead and move on to the 3rd C. What's the 3rd C that you're all about?
The 3rd C is cooking. And I actually have a story of why I enjoy cooking so much as well. And that's also related to my health.
Let's hear it.
I was taken off food. And so I was fed through a feeding tube or through something called TPN, which is food through your heart. So they break down your food and they put it straight into your heart and let it digest. So that entire time, sometimes 8 months long, I wouldn't have anything by mouth, no water, no food. All I got to do was brush my teeth, no gum, no candy. And so I thought about that one time and I realized that my last meal was not that important to me because I was like, well, I'll eat again tomorrow. So I just scarfed it down in front of a TV and moved on. And now meals are much more important to me. Their community, their family, their growth. And I like to really cook for people and have a good time with that. So that's kind of where that's developed. And I started cooking for other people while I was on that time period just because they said you have to get used to it somehow. And so I decided if I made the meals for my family, I'd be more comfortable sitting with them at a dinner table. So that's kind of where that started.
Awesome. That's a great story.
Thank you.
All right, so the last and the final C, what's that?
Coloring. I love coloring.
Yeah.
So coloring is just important to me because it's distracting, it's therapy, and I did art therapy while I was in the hospital and when I was sick as well, and we would do painting and everything, but whenever I couldn't paint or do anything like that, I'd have a coloring app on my phone, or I'd have coloring books and color all the time, and even just draw and doodle. And I'm not the best drawer, but I love it, so it's a good time.
Awesome. Well, hey, Whitney, thank you for taking the time and being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
About who you are and what you're all about. So,
yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching the first premiere episode of I Am, and be sure to tune in next week for another episode of I Am. Have a good day.